I guess just excited for the postseason. Obviously, it was a successful regular season. I know the players were excited about winning the regular season championship, and you just sort of turn the page and go on to the next chapter. And for us, it becomes a weekend playoff series, and the only thing you're guaranteed is the game Saturday afternoon against Bemidji. So I know the players will be excited. Coaches now prepare them to get ready for Saturday afternoon, and if you win, you move on and play for another trophy. If you lose, you're back on the bus heading home.
Take questions?
You had a couple really close games with Bemidji the last time you played them, earlier this month, last month, whenever it was. What stands out to you about those games? Why they were closer than the games you played against them earlier in the season, and what do you learn as a team from those?
Well, I think that when you play them, after the weekend series up there, we had talked about you had to compete at a real high level. They're going to work hard for 60 minutes. That's sort of their MO, and you try to outwork them. That's the objective when you play them in a weekend series. It's a little bit different when they're one and done, and so they're going to have some confidence. They've won 3 out of the last 4 games. Beat Minnesota Duluth twice in their building. They finished the regular season down at Ohio State, won their Saturday afternoon game down there. So I'm sure they're going to be playing with confidence, and we're just going to have to come out and play and do the things that we're capable of doing. And so at this time of the season, you're more worried about what you're going to do as a team than your opponents. So we'll talk about some things, we'll show some video, but the most important thing is if we can go out and play up to our capabilities, then we have a real good chance to be successful.
I think this whole season you've kind of been under the understanding that a lot of people are going to have to contribute goals, and one of them has been Maddie Rowe, and maybe that's surprised, maybe it's the level that she's played at. Can you speak to that? What you've seen in her this season that's brought along ability to be playing with the players she's with?
Well, to me, it's a classic example of preparing yourself and not sure when your opportunity might come along, and when it comes along, do you seize the moment and take advantage of that opportunity? And she was scheduled at the beginning of the season to play defense for us, and obviously with some injuries, some things that went on early in the season, she ended up playing forward, and took her opportunity and made the most out of it as far as whether she was scoring some goals or setting up some plays, but being around the puck, creating opportunities for herself and her line mates. And the more opportunities she was given, the better she started to play. And so at the beginning of the season, she was probably going to be our 6th or 7th defenseman, depending on how you looked at the depth chart. We hadn't thought about putting up to forward. A couple weekends of the season decided to make that move, and again, she's taken the opportunity and made the most out of it. Now she's on our power play, and so in September, if we were putting together lines and power play opportunities for kids, she probably wasn't anywhere near that sheet. But she's taken her opportunity, made the most of it, and now is playing very well for us. It's nice to see. Again, she worked hard this past summer. Worked hard her freshman year, worked the prior coming in her freshman year in the summer, and so, given that time frame and what she's able to do, she's put herself in a real good spot.
Mark, your team's put up some excellent defensive numbers, and Kristen Campbell gets most of the credit for that. But how good are the 5 players in front of Kristen Ben this season?
They've been very good. Some of the awards came out. Some of the kids were on that award list, and so generally your goaltender is going to give credit to your defensemen and or your forwards, or a combination of both. And so I like to think of it collectively as a group, and as 5 players out there trying to defend when necessary and when needed, and when there's a breakdown, Kristen was able to make some saves. So it's a combination of a lot of little things, but I think our blue line, especially for our 2 freshman defensemen, they've certainly grown. They've gotten better. And I think in the last probably 5 or 6 weeks, I don't look at them as freshmen. Their season, they've played in a lot of difficult buildings. They've played under some stress. They've made some mistakes, but most importantly, they've grown, and they're playing very well right now.
Would you rather not play the final face-off in Minnesota and Duluth every year, and maybe playing somewhere else at some point?
In a perfect world, yeah, it'd be great to have that at LeBon. I was talking with my son at breakfast this morning. Why don't you guys play, one of these Frozen Fours or these games playoff games at LeBon? I says, it's just the way it is. And so I think as a league, one of the things we looked at was consistency, trying to have the tournament in the same place for a number of years to try to create some interest and see if we could create something that was special. And Minnesota just seems to be the spot. We've tried it in Duluth, we've tried it in Bemidji, we've tried it a couple times up in Grand Forks, and we just weren't able to get the attendance that I think that the coaches and certainly our commissioner and some of the people in our administration wanted. So in a perfect world, yeah, you'd like to try it in some different sites, but I think for the strength of our league and the opportunity to create something special, it is what it is. And so, if you end up having to play Minnesota, that's just part of being involved in women's hockey.
You were hoping that last week would be good on the injury front and getting some rest. How was it? I mean, do you feel like you're closer to getting players back to be able to play or to be able to play at a less injured state anyway?
We're trending in the right direction. And so, I talked to my trainer this morning, and we'll have one of the players back practicing at full strength today, and a couple other will be still missing, but we're trending in a positive direction.